Hey guys, what's going on? It's Matt, the boy who had 7, and today I've got an Omni / Absolute haul that I want to share with you. Stick around and see what I got. If this is your first time checking out the channel, go check out all the other videos I got. I got some cool stuff. Please leave me a like, a thumbs up, and hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. And let's get into this. So I've kind of told you guys my last video, which is the one right before this. I'm moving towards more digital omnibus reading. I'm getting rid of a bunch of my floppies. So I'm trying to pick up stuff that I love to read, stories that are special to me. And so today I've got a whole bunch of mixture of things for you. So let's start with the Absolute editions. This is the first time I've ever owned one of these. Really cool. So when you guys think about Justice League Dark, when you think about the macabre, you think about, you know, the darkness and the monsters of DC, one of the first characters that comes to my mind is Swamp Thing. And so I started reading from House of Secrets number 92 on, and I really fell in love with the characters, with the feeling and the vibe in the books. But I've heard from so many people that the best Swamp Thing read is the Alan Moore run. And I've started that. I'm into it quite a ways, and I have to agree, it's awesome. It's a great read. It really makes you think. It has that creepy, scary monster vibe to it. So I went ahead and picked myself up the 3 Absolute editions of Alan Moore's run. So let me grab these here real quick. Here we go, guys, with number 1. This is the Absolute edition. Man, these things are absolutely big, thick, beautiful. They feel really nice, you know. Let me grab another Omni so you can see how they kind of compare. I won't show you this one yet, but look at the size. Now this is of course a small one. It's not as thick, but I mean these Absolute editions are real tall. Okay, so what does this include? So this is volume 1 of the Alan Moore run, and it includes the Saga of the Swamp Thing number 20 through 34, and also Swamp Thing Annual 2. So there's number 1. All right, I'm actually gonna lie this down so we don't hit that statue. Here is volume number 2, and I love how they all match. You know what I mean? Just really cool. I love having that whole aesthetic. And this one includes Saga of the Swamp Thing 35 through 38, Swamp Thing 39 through 50, and then it's got some of Alan Moore's script from Swamp Thing 40. So there's that one. And finally, guys, this is volume number 3. Yeah, great character. I really do like Swamp Thing and all the stuff that I read. I'm never disappointed when I read Swamp Thing. This one includes Swamp Thing 51 through 64, and DC Comics presents 85 and a little bit of Swamp Thing 60. So there you have it, guys. My first Absolute edition. Any of you guys watching this right now, have you read this story? Do you love it as much as I do? Do any of you guys collect Absolute editions versus omnibuses? This is my first time having these. Really tall. Luckily they fit in my bookshelf where I had them, and all together just like this, as you see here. I mean, it just looks really nice. It's just cool to have that. Love it so much. All right. Okay, now kind of into the whole fantasy world. I just kind of wanted to share with you guys a book series that I absolutely adore. This is Fable Haven, and this is written by an author named Brandon Mull. It's about a little girl and her brother, about 13, 11 years old when the first book comes out, and they find out that their grandparents are running a secret preserve of fantasy characters, witches, demons, centaurs, dragons, all kind of stuff like that, guys. And the story progresses to where it just really catches my attention. If you have any little kids, this is a great read. From probably, you know, 8-year-olds to 15-year-olds would really love this. I've read this series several times. The other books that I had were already torn and abused and beaten because my kids had taken them to school and all kinds of things. So I had to pick this new box set up again. Make sure that we have it nice and fresh when the kids want to read it or I want to read it again. Probably read this series about 5 times all the way through, and then there's 5 more books after this, but pick that up too. All right, guys. Now into the Omnis. Okay, you saw one earlier. I'm going to go and share that one with you now. This one here, what I decided, like I said earlier, is I am trying to get reads that I really enjoy. And one of my favorite Donny Cates read is Thanos Wins. And so this is Thanos right here. It's a small Omni, real small. And it only collects Thanos 13 through 18, Annual 1, Cosmic Ghost Rider 1 through 5, and Thanos Legacy number 1. But this Thanos Wins is such a well-written story. It's the first time we're introduced to the Cosmic Ghost Rider, which is Ghost Rider and the Punisher combined, right? So Frank Castle lives to the end of time. He takes the Ghost Rider powers onto what he already is as the Punisher, and man, it's really cool. We see the fallen Silver Surfer in this. We see Thanos fighting himself from the future. We see the Hulk. It's just a great read, guys. I highly recommend it if you haven't. Some of you I know stay away from the newer stuff, but this is one that if you can catch like in a trade paperback, an Omni, online, it's a really great read, so highly recommend it. Had to get it so that I could read that myself. Look at King Thanos. There's Cosmic Ghost Rider right there, and look how he has the Hulk. Ooh, the Maestro looks like. Great read. So had to get that one. All right, on to the next one. I'm a big fan of Captain America, and I especially love the Winter Soldier. The Ed Brubaker story of the Winter Soldier and the death of Captain America and all these things is so good. So if you guys have not read Captain America, and especially Ed Brubaker's story about the Winter Soldier, my goodness, so good. The things that they do to the Winter Soldier, the way that they use him, and the type of life he had to endure, and the way that he was brainwashed is just heart-wrenching. It's horrible, and it makes for such a great read. And his redemption because of Cap is great. So this is collecting Captain America 1 through 25 and the Captain America 65th Anniversary Special and Winter Soldier Winter Kills One Shot. So I had to get this one. It's another smaller one. You know, it's not as small as Thanos Wins, but it's still pretty small. But just such a great read. I wanted to have this one. I want my kids to be able to grab this, pick it up, and read through it because it's a very riveting story. It just gets you emotional. Man, when I read it and see what they did to brainwash Bucky into being the Winter Soldier, it just hits all those feels, makes me angry, makes me so sad for him, gives me hope when he meets Cap, but then just so great. If you haven't read it, go read it. All right, guys, so there are 2 of my little Omnis. On to the next one. This one right here, guys, is one that I had to grab. One of my favorite stories of all time. One of the stories that got me into comics, and the actual story that got me into collecting comics, and that is the death of Superman. So this includes the death of Superman, Funeral for a Friend, the return of Superman, the reign of the Superman, and a couple of other things. So this one is thick. So here's the Ed Brubaker. Okay, it's almost double that size. This baby is incredible. Lost some plastic there, kind of bums me out, but I guess you can't keep it perfect forever. Yeah, and they're doing I think it's the 30-year anniversary of this happening this year. So kind of cool, you know? Great story. I absolutely loved it. Had to have this for sure. Ooh, that thing's heavy. You could take someone out with that. All right, guys. So I thought, what's a great DC Omni that I could get? I have a list of Omnis that I like, and I jump between cheap graphic novels, organic price books, eBay, Amazon, and my comic shop. And so I'm always looking for the best price, and I'm trying to see what fits the budget for the month. And I thought, what DC book is one that I need to have because it means something to DC Comics. And of course, I came up with Flashpoint. This thing like changed DC Comics. This story is pretty darn awesome. The things that come from this story we're still dealing with now in comics. And so, I mean, I just thought this was really great. This thing collects the 5 issues of Flashpoint, the Flash 8 through 12, and all 56 tie-in issues. So, got some killers in here. Jeff Johns, Andy Kubert, Jeff Lemire, Dan Jurgens. So, there's so much. This is another really thick one. And I just thought this would be great to have. I haven't read all the tie-ins. I've only read the miniseries. So, I'm excited to see more about this and learn some more about the Flashpoint event. So that's the 10th anniversary. So, all right. These last two are the same exact book. Got one for myself, bought one for a friend. My car broke down about 4 months ago. It was sitting in my driveway for about 2 months because I was just trying to figure out what to do. It was super expensive to fix. I was going to be above like $6,000 to get it running again. Plus, with the way the world is going right now, like there's no parts in stock. Everybody's backed up. So, man, it was weighing on me heavy. And my friend told me one day that he, since he was young, probably the last 20 years, he's purchased the kind of vehicle that I have, and then he likes to upgrade them or soup them up or whatever. And so he's like, yeah, I'll work on it for you. And I was like, well, how much do you want for it? He's like, nothing, man. Just hang out with me, talk, just have some friendship, and I'll teach you how to do it. So the last month we've been getting in the hood of my car, and I don't do things like that. Like, I'm not good with my hands. I'm not mechanically minded. But I thought it was really cool of him to do that. So I picked him up a couple of gifts and to say thank you for helping me out. And so here's one of them. This is Thor by Jason Aaron. And this right here collects probably one of my top 3 favorite stories of all time in comic books. I just absolutely love Thor and the God Butcher storyline. I still have not watched Thor Love and Thunder. Got my qualms with that, so once it comes out on Disney Plus, I'll check it out. But this story in comic book form is absolutely insane. If you haven't read about gore, I just highly, highly, highly recommend it. And then, of course, one of my favorite stories as well is when Jane Foster becomes Thor and the whole thing that happens with that. So this is Omnibus number 1. It includes Thor, God of Thunder 1 through 25, Thor 1 through 8, which talks about Jane Foster, Thor Annual 2015 number 1, Thor's 1 through 4, Mighty Thor 1 through 12, which is Jane Foster. So I can't wait to get the rest of it because the way that Jane Foster battles to the end and some stuff that I don't want to give away, some spoilers, is just absolutely incredible. So I can't wait for Thor Jason Aaron Volume 2. That's going to be awesome. So I grabbed him this one right here. That way I can hook him up with that and he can have a good read. The guy loves to read. He's a huge reading fan, so he just never really gotten into comics. So he reads things like Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter and all kinds of fantasy and incredible stories like that. But I wanted to get him into comics, and I thought this would be a great way for him to get into it. Big, looks nice on a shelf if you want to just put it up there, you know. So, and then of course I had to get myself that too, and this is one of my favorite covers ever. I just absolutely love, like I said, Jane Foster Thor. And so there it is, guys. That is my Omni haul, and I've already purchased a whole bunch more. I got some that I'm going to share with you coming in here pretty soon again, so stay tuned for that. But let me know down in the comments, are there any of these omnibuses that you own that you'd like to have? Any recommendations, something you haven't seen yet from my last 2 videos that I need to grab for myself so I can have a piece of comic book history in my hands, and these big, beautiful, colorful omnibuses. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Truly appreciate it. It's good to hear from you always. I hope everybody's doing well. I wish you nothing but the best. So, as always, guys, I'll see you later. Mischief